Welcome to the Kegel Show. I will be your host, Don Agent. I'm thrilled today to be sitting with a very dear friend of mine, colleague, as well as our CEO of Kegel, Christopher Chartrand.
How you doing, Don?
Fantastic. I'm glad you were able to take some time out of your schedule. It's hard for us to hook up a lot of times with travel and obviously the day-to-day work life. But, we were talking earlier, and Chris, literally half of your life you've been here at Kegel employed. And, you started your career in a bowling center. Can you kind of take us on that journey a little bit?
Yeah, it'll be 18 years this year. I turned 40 this year.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's weird to look back and think that almost half my life I've spent here. But a lot like a lot of people I know at Kegel, a lot of people that are in the bowling industry. For me, bowling became a part of my life when I was real young, just like a lot of other people.
Well, you and I started out, bowling with my father. That was one of the greatest movements for me to go into a bowling center. I played baseball and a couple other sports, but felt really connected to that. And then for me, when I got to see the machinery in the back, that kind of sent me off to another direction. So yeah, I loved bowling, but then I got in love with the business as well. And you also had kind of a similar start to some degree.
Yeah, I begged my dad. He bowled Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock at Verdi's Tropicana. I used to beg him to take me to watch the men bowl late league on Wednesday nights. Smoky, lots of curse words, alcohol. It felt like this dangerous place that I wasn't supposed to be. And I begged my dad to take me. But, like a lot of kids, I played basketball, baseball, bowling. And there was just something about bowling that really grabbed me. I remember vividly, like the feeling that it gave me whenever I threw a strike. Like the combination of what a strike looked like, the combination of a sound was just something that hooked itself into me, and I've been bowling ever since.
And you also, I think you had an instrumental person in your life at that center at that point in time that really kind of helped you catapult from a certain bowling average to really that next milestone. Who was that person?
Jobrani. I was a hack. I wasn't good. I bowled youth leagues. I was averaging 150, 140, something like that. And then, I got a job at Don Carter Vista Bowling Center and worked in the snack bar there. I worked for Joe and his wife Debbie and Debbie's Diner at Don Carter's Vista, and he took me under his wing, taught me a lot about the game. And that summer there, from like 15 to 16, was when I had kind of the big jump. I went from averaging 150 to averaging over 200 for the first time, and learned a lot from Joe, and then from there started picking up stuff in the pro shop, learned how to drill balls, and got really into that. Drilled balls all through college. So really my first job was in a bowling center, and I'm still working in bowling.
And you also, you weren't just working in college, you also were bowling for Florida State University, correct?
I was.
So you were out competing against, a lot of the collegiate teams that exist today, obviously different people at that point, and we were not NCAA back then, were we, as far as the schools went?
Yeah, the men's side is, still not NCAA. We weren't then. It was a club sport at Florida State. I went to school at Florida State for reasons. It was a school I wanted to go to, the degree that I wanted to pursue. I was lucky that they had a bowling team, and tried out and bowled on the team. And really, that experience there bowling at Florida State is the reason that I'm here.
And that's where I was going to kind of fast forward to, because essentially, it's very possible that the degree you were pursuing, you may not have ended up in bowling, but because of kind of a chance meeting and a chance opportunity, you actually came here and were brought on to create a sales division for this company, which we never had before.
Yeah, that's right. Jonathan Davis, the founder's son, also bowled with me at Florida State, and we got to know each other real well, became friends. And after I graduated, I went and did outside sales for about 10 months. I hated it. I sold payroll for 10 months. It was excruciating.
That sounds painful, actually.
But I did learn a lot. I got some real formal sales training, and that was the time that Kegel was really deciding whether they wanted to launch their own brand of products. So once that decision was made, the company needed salesman number one, and So I came over and interviewed with Big John, which was an interesting experience. You know, it wasn't like a typical job interview. We just talked about bowling, and and he gave me the opportunity. I remember at the time it was exciting for me, obviously, to work in bowling, but being terrified because a lot of what the job entailed. I remember telling John, I have no clue how to do this. I've never done it before, and he says to me, neither do we. We'll figure it out together, And he just, saw, something there, the kind of a belief that judgment would be good, and that that we'd figure it out. So I'm blessed that he allowed me to learn a bunch of those things on the job early in my career.
Kind of similar, I think, to most of us. I mean, when I was a pen setter mechanic, and all of a sudden he says, "Hey, I got a great job offer for you." He says, "Twice the hours, half the pay, and you're going to work on lane machines." Like, I hate lane machines, and then came over and really was happy for the opportunity and saw the vision that he had, and really saw the direction we were going. And that being said, I mean,
now look at you. You've got your own show.
I've got my own show. I've got a very cool flannel on here that my wife bought me. So, and we obviously have a lot of fun here. And you and I both agree. I mean, passion at Kegel pretty much runs through most of our veins.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, we'd come up together as a group with a mission statement, and we actually just kind of recently changed that. I was wondering if you'd kind of let the audience know what is the change? What kind of was the goal or the intention of that first mission statement versus where we ended up?
Yeah, I mean, the original mission statement was written by John, and those were his words, and it was a little long, one that a few of us could remember, but not everyone, and it was all about the sport of bowling and researching the sport of bowling, and from that research, developing products and services that help bowling.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, we lost John. It's just over 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
4 years.
It was,
yep.
And it's it felt like enough time has passed, and the team, as we're kind of moving on into some different directions, some new divisions, that the mission statement be looked at again, and it's also be something that, as a team that's leading the company, that we all felt that there was kind of buy-in, that we all kind of wrote those words together. And the process was wild. You went through it with,
yes, sir.
with Don. It was amazing how, as we reevaluated this, we ended up with pretty much the exact same.
The same thing. It was just less words.
It's just who we are, and our new mission is improving and enhancing the bowling experience, which is for us just all about bowling. And
as a whole.
Bowling people. I mean, you talked about your bowling background. I've been in it since I'm 5. I like to tell everybody a story about me personally. In high school, in Future Business Leaders of America, I set a goal to be the president of a bowling ball company.
I remember you telling me that, actually.
So, I'm in my dream job. There's bowling runs deep in all of us, So, and at a time when the industry is changing, there's definitely been a shift more towards bowling as an entertainment choice. We really have decided to kind of double down on everything that makes bowling better. So and the words we chose allowed for making the bowling experience better with lessons at the training center, and improving the bowling experience by making the pin center run smoother.
It was more of a broad statement that encompassed the whole thing instead of just one portion of that.
Yeah, it takes it out just a little bit bigger, but it's still unequivocally all about bowling for us, and all about improving bowling and making bowling better. The new coaching products that we've got coming out with Specto and Torch are clearly a very clear demonstration to the market that we're committed to the sport of bowling and improving the bowling experience.
Absolutely. I believe you had a question for me earlier. One of these questions had popped up, but you were going to ask me this.
Ever since I've known you, Donnie, you've had this wrench around your neck. Yeah, tell me the story about your gold wrench.
That was in the beginning of the video, I said once I went back behind the pen setters, I fell in love. I was very lucky to have a phenomenal mentor by the name of Larry Choate. He's now passed. And I was in love with everything Brunswick, essentially. Anything that had the Brunswick logo on it, mechanically, I couldn't get enough. And for my 18th birthday, my mother actually had this made. by her best friend and gave it to me as a gift, and that was in 1988. This is the same identical wrench. The only time it comes off is to be repaired, or in the occasion that I have given a few of them out on my own, specifically internationally. You know, where I've met a couple of people overseas to where I felt, you know, they were not just mechanically capable, but philosophically, you know, they enveloped everything that we believed in and looked at. So there are 2 others out there, and there are 2 in my safe. They're all made by my own personal gold. And I don't think wrenches was in your forte. Usually I'm hanging shelves for you, or you're kind of asking me to help you out around the house. So you've gotten much better over the years.
He's my Schneider.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
At times, obviously, we've known each other a long time, and I know people in the industry see that you go through this beard, no beard change thing. Is this a seasonal thing?
I've been beard for a while now. Yeah. I mean, I've always had
like
pretty much a goatee.
The goatee is kind of, I guess, where I was going.
It's just one spot. It doesn't grow. It grows here, here okay, and over here with this one spot. So if I let it go out, it fills in the spot. But yeah, no, I got promoted to president in 2010, and I've had a beard the entire time. I haven't shaved because it was right around there. I went back to a goatee, and my wife said, nah,
"Don't do it.
Let's go with the beard." But you know, I mean, Big John always had a beard. I mean, it certainly hasn't been a taboo thing to have facial hair around Kegel. So yeah, it's pretty much beard for me. You don't want to see me without a beard. You know, I'm pretty young.
Well, Chris, I thank you so much for taking time out today to spend with us and our audience. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, that's pretty much a wrap for the show. Until next time, keep those wrenches turning, and I wish you a wonderful day.